Okay. Good morning, motherfuckers. Okay. So, oh fuck. Listen up. Yeah, so here we are. Uh, Back at it again. With another video for you on some life lessons that I've learned, trying to put into practice, trying to find my way, trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing here, right? So, today I wanted to talk about the quantum leap. You feel me? Okay. So, I'm sure you've heard a lot about this. In recent history, right? Just because it's kind of a new thing that's been, I'd say, like in prominence since about 2017, with the ideas that have been coming to, the general collective on, quantum theories, new things that we're observing in science, right? But it's things that we've always sort of known in a sort of manner of intuition, I guess, right? Intuitively, people have figured this out long before, and shared it, and countless times you can see it and you can feel it, you can understand it, you can put it into practice, right? And so this is the basis for a lot of things like Taoism, like Buddhism, like the whole idea of the way. A lot of it connects back to like all these quantum theories that we're figuring out now, right? Like entanglement and duality, spin, those different sorts of things. Um, you can see. It doesn't matter. All right, listen. At the end of the day, I want to talk about the quantum leap. Um, I think that uh, in every case, right? Okay, so here's a lot of crazy stuff that's gonna come out. So here we go. Take this all with a grain of salt, if you will, right? I mean, there's no scientific basis. I mean, to be honest with you, there's quantum theory, but at the end of the day, it's theory. All science is theory, but it's really about what can you see, what can you feel, what can you understand. What do you think that you've seen in the parallels of life that can make you uh, make this fit, right? Make this work, right? Like, do you see this working for you? If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Don't think about it. It's not something that you have to. It's just knowledge that to put out there, right? So, um, I believe that everything in existence already exists and already will has existed and will continue to exist. You know, in different realms, right? Uh, Different dimensions. If you want to think about it in like the whole like string theory like way, right? But that's kind of like the way. That's kind of why like there's oracles and stuff like old like spiritual doctors and stuff like that can supposedly tell your future and tell you what's gonna happen. Essentially, it's just using the way understanding the parameters of like where you are in life and intuitively tuning into all the senses of this collective like web that we're all living in, right? This you know you can think of it as a pool of energy, right? We're all just in a big mass of existence that is the universe, right? So we're all just kind of swimming in the same pool. If you think about it in a pool, you can feel the ripples of water droplets, ways away, right? That's a wave essentially. So, uh, that's the whole idea. I think that's the way that divination works personally, right? I think that it's just tuning into this giant web that we're all mixed up in and taking the parameters that you can see from the person in general, right? Like who they are, how they interact with you, right? You'll take that all in and then make an intuitive leap into as to what their future could be projected to be, right? Essentially in that moment. That is what, but that's the key in that moment, right? So the quantum leap is essentially what happens every single moment of every single day as time moves forward, as our perception of time moves forward, right? So uh, if we're moving forward, because like time isn't a real thing, right? We measure it from the sun or us going around the sun, right? And whenever we see the sun versus when we don't, um, and like the rotations around the sun and all these other things. It's not it's just a measurement of like change essentially, right? A measurement of change if you want to think about it in like mathematic terms and just in general, like that makes sense, right? Everything's changing at all times because time is moving forward. Time is moving forward. um Essentially it's just a parameter of change. Everything in life is change, right? Everything in life is change. So if you make a decision at any point, right, which is every moment, right? Every moment you are choosing to do things, whether you like, you're doing it subconsciously or consciously, like breathing or like if you're deciding to yeah, if you're breathing, if you go eat some cereal, if you go do something else, even in your thoughts, right? If you make a new principle, if you decide, like right now in this moment, you are taking in new information. Right now, you're deciding whether or not you believe this information, whether or not it makes sense to you, whether or not it's useful. All of these things, all of these decisions that you're making, all the ways that you're storing this information, it's all changing your future at every single moment, right? Every single moment, your future is changing. Obviously, this is just the nature of time. Uh, as if we really think about it as like what it really is, right? It's just a measurement of change. Um, yes. So obviously, these decisions affect our trajectory. It's kind of, you can think about it as like maybe an angle. If you change an angle by a certain degree, like really close up, it obviously springs out and makes a larger change outside. But if you change the angle a lot, out down here, then obviously like whoa, way back up there, wherever you were looking to see the big change earlier, is going to be huge now, right? So bigger decisions in your life are going to change things drastically. The smaller decisions in your life, not so much. It'll just it might push you forward into another. It's kind of like wading the streams of life, right? So let's say you're going down a river, and there's at the end there's a dividing tributary where there's a fork in the road. There's left or right, right? If everything in life's binary, you think. Who knows? But yeah, there's left or right. So say that eating cereal seems insignificant to you right now, but eating cereal versus like having had an apple or something instead might change your energy levels for that day. It might affect like how you take in information that day, and it might affect how you decide something that day, right? And so these tiny little decisions could be thought of as just you flowing to one side of the river or the other side, right? Nothing's really changing, but you're predisposed to ending up on one side or the other once you finally come to that fork. You feel me? So, the quantum leap is essentially that decision, right? Anytime you decide anything, you are making a quantum leap. But if you make a huge decision, you make a pretty significant leap, right? But only if you stick by it, right? Obviously, everything's always changing. So saying something like, "Hey, I've decided that I'm gonna, finally get to the gym. I'm gonna finally, lose some weight. I'm gonna finally, um, learn that new skill that I've been wanting to do. I'm gonna finally, start that thing that I wanted to do." You feel me? You can decide that in this moment and then take absolutely no action, right? That's not gonna help you in the long run. That's like changing your degree by like maybe like half a degree. Who know, like probably less, right? And then maybe actually putting a small action towards it, like at least looking up how to do whatever you want to do, or yeah, something like that. Maybe changes it to like 1 degree. But until you actually start taking actions on it, you're not gonna really make any big changes. Um, that being said, it doesn't mean that it's impossible, right? It just means that it's going to take longer, right? Like obviously you're still wading down that river. You're still, moving closer and closer to that towards that edge, towards that goal where you want to be. Um, and whenever the forks come, the forks will take you to the right decision, right? Because obviously at every point, every moment, you're making that decision. At every point, whether you like it or not, time's moving forward and change is inevitable. So if you are making those decisions constantly and you stick by your decision, you'll get there working smarter, not harder, right? But there's this cool connection that you make to this. It's like, why do we think that the old are so wise? It's because they've seen a lot of things and they've made it to where they are from working smarter, not harder, right? That's kind of the idea here, is that Father Time's gonna catch you, or Mother. I don't know. What do we? How do we anamorphize time? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Listen, you're gonna get old. If you don't mind, if that's no problem for you. That's kind of a calming effect too. You're not gonna lose yourself. You're gonna reach your goals as long as you live long enough, right? As long as you take care of yourself, and as long as you're. So yeah, I mean, as long as you want to reach your goals, you'll make it. If you want to reach your goals, you'll make it. The question is how fast you want to get there. Does it matter? Does it matter if you reach it now, or does it matter if you reach it in 50 years? Or is the point is to just get there, right? Um, I think that as long as you keep something closer to your mind, is that the point is just to get there. It actually goes faster anyway, because then you'll see things that you wouldn't normally see if you weren't so committed. So that's the quantum leap. Yeah. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. That's kind of what I've been using in my life lately. But yeah, love you guys. Bye.